So we are going to start off with looking at compound sentences. This is where you take two complete sentences and you join them together with some kind of glue. In this first example we're looking at, the glue is going to be a coordinating conjunction. Okay, so some things that you should know about coordinating conjunctions. So there are multiple coordinating conjunctions out there, and there are more than I have listed on this paper, but these are the basic ones that you need to know and you need to internalize. So the acronym to help you remember these is called FANBOYS. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Most often, when you use these words, if you are joining them with another sentence, that's when you need to make sure you include your comma. It's different, like for example, if you're listing things, I went to the store and got cake and brownies, right? I'm listing two things, I'm not joining sentences, so you don't need to follow this formula for that. So in particular, this is used when you join a independent clause, also known as a complete sentence. It's got a subject, a verb, it's a complete thought, and a second independent clause. So between the two, you put a comma and then one of these FANBOYS words, one of these coordinating conjunctions. Keep in mind that the joined sentences must connect in topic and idea. For example, you could not say, I'm hungry, comma, and I want a puppy. Because even if those two things are, true, if I am in fact hungry, and if I do in fact want a puppy, awesome. But by joining them together, I'm implying that I'm hungry and I want to eat a puppy. So just be careful when you're joining these together. All right, some examples for you. So one of these is a student example, one of them is my example, and one of them comes from a novel. So in this first one, I hate winter, but I love hot chocolate. So I hate winter is an independent clause. It can stand by itself. It doesn't need to rely on anything else. I love hot chocolate is an independent clause. Once again, it can stand by itself, doesn't need to rely on anything. So to join these two together, I simply put a comma, and then I pick, once again, one of those FANBOYS words. All right. So in this case, I want to use the word but. All right. I'm telling you that I like hot chocolate a lot. All right. And normally people drink hot chocolate during winter, but I hate winter. Okay. And something else that's super always important, make sure that you have a period right there at the end of your sentence. Way too many students don't properly punctuate their sentences. All right, another example. Your love is strong. Once again, independent clause. You should show it. Once again, independent clause. Two thoughts relate, so we're going to join them with a comma and the coordinating conjunction so. Your love is strong, comma, so you should show it. Now, in both of these instances, if I were to get rid of the comma and the coordinating conjunction and replace it with a period, it would still work. I hate winter, period. I love hot chocolate, period. Your love is strong, period. You should show it, period. Now, if you wrote your sentences like that all the time, it'd get really boring really fast. And so that's why we use things like compound and complex sentences, because it adds sentence variety to your writing. It makes it look more sophisticated, and it shows like, hey, look, I know how to speak and write better than somebody who's 4 years old. Okay. All right, this last example. So Mr. Darling knew it. All right, that's an independent clause. Comma, yet he sometimes wondered uneasily whether the neighbors talked. And then bury 4 because this came from a book, in this case Peter Pan, page 4. So he sometimes wondered uneasily whether the neighbors talked. That's my second independent clause. They are joined together with a comma and the word yet. All right. Another example, this is from the book Every Last Word. Now, sometimes you'll see that authors actually don't follow this rule. One of the things that I tell students is that authors, first off, they make hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars depending on how famous they are and how strong and well-known their writing is. But when you know the rules, you can break them when you're doing kind of creative writing. Okay, but until you've learned to master these, you shouldn't be doing anything otherwise. So I give her my house number and street, comma, and she scribbles it on her palm and pockets the pen again. So I give her my house number and street. That's an independent clause, stands by itself. She scribbles it on her palm and pockets the pen again. Independent clause stands by itself and is joined by a comma and the word and. All right. So once again, that is another example that you could use. So let's say I have a requirement. I have to write 3 sentences that use this structure or 5 sentences that use this structure. Remember that you kind of want the ideas to relate together. So let's think about reading. Okay, I love reading. It's kind of what I do. All right. So I read one book over break, comma, but I had planned on reading more, period. So that's one sentence. And then I might do something like, fantasy is my favorite genre, comma, yet I also enjoy science fiction. And let's do a last one. So I read one book over break, comma, but I had planned on reading more. Fantasy is my favorite genre, comma, yet I also enjoy science fiction. Reading is great, for it gives me a chance to explore outside of my own world. So once again, reading is great, complete sentence. It gives me a chance to explore outside of my own world, complete sentence, joined by a comma and the word for. So once again, coordinating conjunctions, they join 2 independent clauses to complete sentences with a comma and a fanboys words. And fanboys is just the acronym to help you remember the most common coordinating conjunctions: for and nor, but, or, yet, and so.